EuroSeason kickoff.
Did you do it?
Yeah, we're on.
The EuroSeason kickoff started?
Well, it started last week, right? With Spain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, one thing that I found pretty interesting is Jose wrote an article in his little blog that I guess I never really thought about it, but it's important. Like when the F1 teams finally make it to Spain, by that time, all the races have been flyaways, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all that. But then when they touch back in Europe, it's a kind of like a big thing. It's
like a homecoming almost.
Yeah, it's a homecoming, and you get to see a bunch of the people. I mean, for the flyaways, apparently only like the more like hardcore F1 like people, like to some the tracks, like they only bring like the need to. Are you needed there? Yes or no? If only if yes is the answer, then you go. Whereas for Spain, a boatload of people that are like involved with F1 actually like go to the zoo that is the F1 paddock in the European season. Lots of people like just even counting the amount of people that they can bring because of the motorhomes that they bring around. Just the amount of people that each team can bring goes up like by a lot, and there's a real feeling of like you said, like homecoming, like you see people that you didn't see since last year, the last European race, like
the people they can bring and the people they can host in the paddock as well, all the guests and their sponsored guests and family and all that stuff too that comes along.
Yeah, that's
they're chefs.
It really does mark especially for the Europeans, like it really does mark like the start of like a now this season is fully underway, like whatever happened, and also things like parts are easier to bring to Europe because any development, like now really we're getting into like the really like fast-paced part of the season, like the European races, they go almost back to back, interrupted with Canada here. But somehow like in some people's minds, like Canada also counts as part of the European season because it's always been embedded somewhere in between. There always, at least in recent times, has happened right after Monaco. So we can expect like a bunch of new changes coming in terms of what the cars, the parts that the teams are coming, the upgrades with the engines.
All the engine stuff we talked about in the first half.
Yeah,
it's a lot of big upgrades.
It's always cool. Like it really does feel like the year has already started, but there's like almost like a second like start to the year now. Like everybody's like gonna dust it off. All right, let's get to business.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Something I want to get out of the way too, because we sort of finished with this last week. You had put together the presentation about the youngest drivers in F1.
Right.
I think it's from this past week, or maybe it came out around Spain. There was an interview floating around online with Murray Walker and Jenson Button.
Mm-hmm.
So I listened
for Channel 4, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think it was for Channel 4. I was listening through that on YouTube, and I heard this fact at the time when he made his debut in F1. He was the youngest British driver of all time. One of the youngest drivers ever. On top of that, there's an article here from January 24th, 2000 saying that he was age 20 years and 53 days, tied with Eddie Cheever, who I believe you did have on your list as number 10. No? He was the 10th youngest driver to start a race. Both Eddie Cheever and Jenson Button, 20 years, 53 days.
Remember, my list was of youngest drivers to win a Grand Prix.
Okay. At the time as well, in his sixth race, Jenson Button was the youngest driver to ever score a point. He's also being overtaken in Brazil. He got sixth place in his sixth race in F1. So he's the youngest guy to score a point at that time.
And Jenson actually went to win a championship.
Now he's one of the oldest.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah, he is a world champion. And, now he's one of the oldest on the grid. 16 years experience.
Jeez,
it's crazy.
He was
showing no signs of slowing down, really.
He was close enough to being 16 years old when he started F1. Now he's had 16 years of experience. Jesus.
I just thought it was interesting. I guess our list is made last week. He's obviously being bumped off the bottom, but he was there at one time.
Well, it took him. He was in F1 as a very young lad, but it took him a while to actually win his first Grand Prix. That's why I think he didn't quite make the list of youngest Grand Prix winners.
Right.
Yeah. But we were talking about deadlines and things and these meetings that are coming up and things that are going to be announced for a Thursday. Well, for for the Thursday press conference meeting, the Thursday press conference with the team principals or the team's representatives.
Yeah.
Not for this Grand Prix, but for the Canadian Grand Prix.
For Canada.
Yeah, that's when we can expect the official unveiling and the official announcement of what the F1 and Heineken partnership is going to be. So that's when they've said that they're finally going to announce it. Like we were saying in our previous segment, Heineken coming to F1, it's been creating a lot of buzz. It could be tied, like people have strung the nets already to tie it to a potential Aston Martin comeback. People are saying that it's gonna have an impact on how the fans consume the sport as well,
or consume alcohol.
Oh, that's the name. Of course. You said you had a couple things on Heineken.
A little bit. I know it's a $250 million deal.
See, that's a weird thing because
over 7 years.
I've heard two things. I've seen 150 million for 5 years, and I've seen also 250 million for 7 years.
Maybe it's like one of those conditional contracts like we were talking about drivers have.
Yeah.
If the first 5 years go well, then they'll throw in an extra 100 million for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Perhaps, and extend beyond there, right?
Yeah, both things could be right for sure. Even if it's that.
Yeah, okay. It's all speculation again. Like there hasn't been an announcement yet.
Yeah.
But so what were you gonna say?
So one of the things that Heineken has already, like, the people that are in the know or whatever, like, part of the announcement that they're gonna do is that Heineken, as a global sponsor or global partner or whatever they end up being of F1, is also gonna be doing things to promote or help promote F1 as a sport through social media and the new channels.
Digital stuff, right?
This could also include like right up until like making things available online in some sort of way, shape, or form, some sort of footage or something, additional F1 content online in some way, shape, or form. Now, obviously, already like people have been thinking like, they're basically. I saw a comment on Reddit and one of these threads about Heineken that somebody was like, yeah, all it's gonna look like is taken down by FOM. Now sponsored by Heineken. That's all that FOM have been doing with digital content, right? Yeah. Their Twitter page is just gonna look like a bunch of like missing file like icon because
it's just an empty beer icon instead.
Yeah. How are they gonna reconcile Heineken's ambitions to bring F1 over to the new media?
Keeping Bernie out.
Well, yeah, with FOM's like current stance that everything must be taken down. This could be a partnership that lays the grounds for something like that, or maybe even, or at least lays the ground for more openness, at least, or at least FOM going in the right direction. Although I have to see it to believe it. You tell me that FOM is like changing their ways,
right?
I have to see it to believe it. There's rumors that that FOM has also been changing their ways in terms of actually apparently doing VR stuff is gonna become like it's that they're already working on something. They've just apparently being quiet about it, and they're working on it more than they're being letting off.
Yeah.
So, but again, going back to the Heineken thing, it could be good for the fans, but this money you have to understand that the bulk of the whatever 150 or 250 million is gonna go to FOM directly. So because this deal was brokered through FOM, and all
the teams are gonna see a lot of it. You're gonna see the Rolex ads and the Pirelli ads. You're gonna see them on the walls surrounding the track.
Yeah. DHL, same thing.
The bridges over the track. You're gonna see it on the billboards and stuff like that. But some seeing is believing type of evidence, which I haven't actually seen, so I can't believe it yet, is Heineken is a big football sponsor as well, in the same way as F1 and
soccer for the Americans, but yes,
soccer, football. And they've put together this video last year called The Dilemma, which apparently caused a sensation and brought in a bunch of new fans. So I don't know. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet, but I've got it open here. I'll check it out after the podcast and see what I think, I guess. But apparently, I guess if they can do something like that for F1,
man, like the thing about Heineken is a very clever company. They know that they're gonna have. It's a Dutch company too, so they know that they're gonna have a ton of their own, like, you know, their own nation is gonna be tuning into the sport, and it already has.
Right.
Like it changed. Max Verstappen changed viewership and
we
F1
saw that
interest.
pile of front page articles last week, all the Dutch papers.
Overnight,
That picture we showed last week.
But Heineken, the way that they do their their campaigning and their ad and their PR stuff is like they kind of do multi-channel stuff. They do a bunch of shit at once that correlates. In Europe, at one point, they were even like talking about like opening like Heineken stores the same way that like Starbucks has stores, like where you can go and like have a beer, but also like buy Heineken merchandise, buy a Heineken mug, like just really like have a holistic approach that you deal like with marketing your beer, but you're also marketing like the Heineken lifestyle and the Heineken related like licensed products. Yes, right.
Heineken bread, the Heineken sandwich.
An Aston Martin by Heineken like is not like it could be something that they might be looking into. So.
Pick up a paper of the Heineken Times.
Yeah. What I would definitely look forward to, Mike, and I'm sure work with me on this one.
Oh, I'm there, man.
Having Heineken on the podium, and instead of like spraying champagne, have him like just shotgun a beer, like shotgun a can of Heineken. See who can
see you later, Shandong.
Yeah. See who can chug it first. Yeah. Add that extra level of competitiveness, even on the podium.
I mean, every bit counts, really. Or every drop.
Every drop counts for Heineken. There's another side of this. Obviously, we know that this deal was brokered via Bernie, and we're seeing more deals that are like from like Bernie dealing with big names, big sponsors, Heineken, DHL, another big multinational, Rolex, again, big company, et cetera, to bring money into F1. But a lot of people think that him doing that is like effectively like cock blocking the other, like the actual teams from getting some of that sweet sponsorship money. And if you think about how F1
and beer coupons.
Yeah. Well, yeah. How the advertising on-screen advertising works for F1 right now is you have a bunch of billboards, right? And you have like advertising like also on the cars. They've been doing some stuff with like digital overlaid ads, but for the most part, like the way that you can get your product advertised on F1 right now, just by like when you think of just, you know, during the race, on the live feed, you put your sticker on a car, or you buy a billboard. The thing is that even if you're Mercedes, like as we've seen, you're not guaranteed coverage of just the Mercedes cars throughout the race. Right. So better bang for your buck if you're thinking of actually just straight like viewing time of your airtime of your ad on the screen. You definitely go with Bernie, because Bernie can assure you that for every race your logo will be shown and multiple times. The teams cannot individually assure that, and because of that, we're seeing a lot of the potential sponsors that would have historically have gone to the teams go and deal with Bernie instead. And because Bernie has a responsibility to CVC of just giving them straight money, and that has only been like creeping up and up and up and up and up, a lot of people see these deals as again just the best thing. I mean, it's no fault of Heineken or anything, like, and they could be doing like something good for the sport by, or at least for the fans. But is it sustainable from a team's point of view? I don't think it is. And like obviously like but that's just how it is in F1 right now. This is just a sign of the times we live in.
Right.
F1, like, you know, Bernie wants more and more money. He can only ask, or he thinks that he can only ask the amount of money that he wants, that he's going for, from big companies, because only big companies will benefit from the international reach of F1, and that's how he's building his whole deal, right? So he has to broker deals in that way that's gonna favor him, and he's gonna favor CVC. He has absolutely zero incentive to look after the F1 teams, other than, you know, I guess at the end of the day, if you don't have F1 teams, you don't have F1. But
Right. Yeah.
but money's still pouring in, and I guess like that's,
No, you can still have a race without the cars.
but it's putting teams like on the other end of the spectrum, like Sauber.
Right. Yeah.
In the complications that they are, I mean, I think that a team like Sauber, to try to go out there and realistically expect to get some big sponsorship money, they don't have a chance to have. Come on, that's why they're there. That's why they're in the position they are right now.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, I think that we should though chug some Heineken when we get to Montreal, and then hear whatever announcement they're gonna announce.
Yeah. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good for the fans, as the headlines point out. I don't know. But I don't know. To me, whatever. If it doesn't help the teams, it doesn't help the teams. Whatever. I'm still gonna watch the racing.
Exactly.
As long as it helps me as a fan.
Yeah. Looking forward definitely to that. Looking forward to Montreal for sure.
Absolutely.
Throw up that gallery for a sec. Look at that for a few seconds. Let's
this one?
Yeah, just give it a quick scroll while we talk for a sec. Somebody posted this on Reddit today. RAABSEN posted it. Just a bunch of pictures of Montreal. Looks like just today they started putting the track together. Some spots of rust there and need wiping up.
I think they have been. They usually start doing this like weeks in advance.
I don't know. He said, I don't know. Anyway, they have started anyway. This is from today or yesterday. Some fence over the grass there. Make sure nobody drives in the grass. It looks empty. It looks completely empty.
Well, I mean, people can just go to this right now because it's a park that's open to the public. You can just take your bike there and do the whole length of the track. It's pretty cool.
You can drive most of it too. I think so.
And most of it, yes.
For those that don't know, the Canadian and the Australian track are very similar. They're both in the city park on semi-permanent roads, sort of like bike path in the year. But they're almost like identical parks, really, right? The one's on the ocean, one's in the river, but the ocean type river. Looks like
well, I mean, the other one is like not actually in the ocean. It's like it's bordering a lake, a man-made lake.
Yeah.
This island was man-made.
It was also man-made. Okay. Yeah. Looks like the curbs there need a good painting at Canada.
They always do like they repaint everything from the Grand Prix. Which is nice.
Yeah.
To see.
There was a picture, I don't know if we showed it last week or not. There was some pictures of Spain as well where it was half painted. They painted all the seats, the grandstands, they painted all kinds of shit. You see no billboards up anywhere yet.
Probably they're waiting for the last call on whether or not it's gonna be a Heineken billboard or a Pirelli billboard, you know?
Or Rolex, maybe
or Rolex, yeah.
And so they actually take them down.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, they only really held them up for. I guess that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
The Wall of Champions. Yeah, it's a public park, so nobody wants billboards there, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Nobody wants billboards there during the year.
Yeah.
You see how much damage gets done to those. Holy shit. I need some paint for sure.
Well, this is all part of like what, you know, in the agreement, in the most recent agreement with Montreal, we saw that they have to have some guaranteed spending on keeping up the track.
It's supposed to be
this stuff happens.
It's supposed to be $40 million. They're supposed to build a new hospital, new permanent pit lane facilities, probably repave all the curbs.
It's because they say that these garage facilities are a bit too old.
And small too. Where they're sharing like half the size of what.
This looks like a bunker from like Fallout.
Yeah. Exactly. The teams spruce them up a little bit. They put up their signs and stuff when they get there, but it's looking a little a little old.
And the hospitality and paddock club facilities also apparently.
Oh, what does that say right there? Official champagne of Formula One.
No, that's gonna
VH1.
that's gonna have to get like
That'll be scrubbed off.
scrubbed
A
off.
couple of the letters have already fallen off by themselves.
Yeah,
Hard work going on under the stands.
that's
Oh, somebody's screwing around there. The old picnic table.
this is gonna be a great Grand Prix. Like after, I mean, I can't wait to see what's gonna happen in Monaco. But you know that Monaco, because it's so different from all the other tracks, so to the slowest one,
We
whatever.
go from the
everything
slowest
else.
to the fastest.
Then
I love
yeah,
the contrast there as well.
and then you go to Montreal. Then teams are really gonna let it. Oh, I can't wait.
The slowest to the second fastest, I guess, but the most open throttled-est or something like that. Or the second most.
Heaviest or second heaviest on the braking.
Yeah, one of those two.
Yeah.
Badass. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the gallery of the setup. It's gonna happen. It's happening.
Well,
None of the TVs, that giant TV's not up there.
the jumbo.
The Jumbotron.
We were like over here for a bit, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly right
That's
there.
exactly right there where we were.
That's where we made that super stereo video that we still haven't put together.
Oh yeah, fuck.
Well, no,
we
we're,
could do another one.
we're just gonna
Yeah,
do
yeah,
like a
yeah.
comparison of between last year and this
yeah.
year. Yeah, that's what
I
we'll
knew
do.
we were saving that for something.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Come back in a few weeks. We'll
Yeah,
have
honestly,
some
guys, I
cool
know that we
stuff.
said this last year around. If you've been listening for over a year, first of all, thank you, and second of all, we did say that we were gonna have like a few more features ready for Montreal, but this year we actually will. We are going
It's
to.
a thing.
Happen. It's for real. As far as these circuits go, German Grand Prix, and a slight bit of news because it's coming back this year.
Yes.
It's been also again one of the longest runningest races of all time. It's going to be in Hockenheim, but there's some news floating around this week that Georg Seller, he was the leader, the head of the Hockenheim race circuit, whatever his job title is. He was as we said, like everyone shows up to Spain. He came to talk to Bernie and do some business. Try to sign some papers. Nothing got signed because F1 Bernie obviously wants a bunch of stuff from them.
Yeah.
He wants and apparently the alteration with the Hockenheim Nürburgring back and forth is still up in the air. I don't know. That's
Really?
what Bernie wants, but I think Nürburgring doesn't have money anymore.
They don't have money, and they are not as interested. They've actually they've actually seen.
They want to focus more on the WEC type
Yes,
stuff.
because they've seen that bang for your buck or bang for your euro, hosting the WC race has brought them way more money in terms of the people that come in, because even though each ticket is cheaper, they don't have to pay as high of hosting fees,
Right.
And actually, more people come. Yeah,
More people show up.
Yeah.
And related to that, I got some info on the French Grand Prix. Just 1 second, but Hockenheim wants a long-term deal. They're trying to send that with Bernie. It seems like the everything's kind of right now. So I guess you could probably expect some sort of news on that. But apparently, since the start of Grand Prix racing, there's only been 2 German Grand Prix that didn't happen.
Oh shit!
And only 2 that didn't happen at the Nürburgring or Hockenheim. There were 2 in Berlin. Can you pull that up actually? Just while I'm talking for a sec, pull up the German Grand Prix Berlin. It only ever happened twice. I think in 1926, one of the original German Grand Prix, and in Formula One there was one Formula One Grand Prix, which was in '59, which was in Berlin. Yeah, there it is, the third one.
This one here.
Oh,
That is the Berlin
what?
circuit. Yeah, this was. For
What?
anybody that's listening, that you're not watching, look it up.
It looks like a
pull this up on your
hairpin.
phone or something like that.
Wow.
It's basically
2 hairpins.
4 corners.
Yeah.
2 of them are basically and one of them is not even numbered as a corner. It was a 4-corner race. And for some reason, it was canceled in 1955.
Well, I can see why. Hey, what? This is not a race. I can't call that a. Come on, that's not a circuit. That's something quite unimaginative and bland.
1955, it was canceled. I think it's because
Wait, this wasn't
some
it.
people
is
died.
It? Is it?
Oh, I guess it was in the 59. I mean,
That was
maybe that was part of the
yeah.
that last loop there.
Oh my god, look at this fucking wall.
Yeah, that banking is insane.
It's like from F-Zero or some shit.
1955 was canceled. I think that was the year that Mercedes pulled out, right? When a bunch of people died in Monaco. That crazy bad accident. And 2015, that was the other time the German race didn't happen. It was last year. But it's back. Don't worry.
At least for now.
The French Grand Prix, there's been some big speculation about it coming back with Renault having an F1 team now.
Potential
making some noise.
French driver with Ocon.
Yeah, doing better. So they're doing better. Ocon is making some noise in F1. There hasn't been a race for a long time. But there's been some talk about having it at Les Sarthe, at the Le Mans circuit.
No, that's not going to work.
Yeah, so they've thought about it. The reasons they're giving is one of them is that they need to invest 17 to 18 million euro to fix the track, which they figure they'll only break even if they did do that. And this is coming from President Pierre Filon of the circuit group or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
And this is a very French answer. His other reason is that I think it would not bring anything. Sorry, that was a bad French accent, but that was his quote. So it would cost us 17 or 18 million euro. They'd only break even, and I think it would not bring anything. That was his reason.
Bernie would love it if it was at Paul Ricard.
Yeah.
You can put those sprinklers up in action.
But it's not gonna happen. If you want to read about it, it's from dailysportstar.com. They had the exclusive on that story. But it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, French Grand Prix, it's not going to happen. So
It's not gonna happen at Les Sarthe anyway.
Yeah,
It's not gonna happen
it's not going to happen. Like, it might happen soon, but you
It
got to
might
think that if they have to add a French Grand Prix, they're going to be looking at like chopping some other track, right?
Yeah, possibly. Which I don't know. Any of them are up in the air. But I don't know. I wouldn't. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it comes back, comes back. Les Sarthe is a badass circuit. It would be cool to race F1 there.
Yeah,
It's long.
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, it's not meant for F1, so
like
it's gonna
teens
be.
of. Yeah, it would be cut shorter. They wouldn't.
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't be going along the back straight or
No,
anything.
it would have to be like a.
Less than or
It would be like a 4. If they can't make it a 4-kilometer track, they probably won't race there ever.
Well, speaking of a 4-kilometer track, the
Okay.
final piece of news I got, it's in Austria.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Bull Ring, as it's known now. It's one of the shortest, if not maybe the second shortest.
Yes.
Outside of
They had-
Monaco.
well, we covered that in a few podcasts ago when they were doing
Right.
some remodeling to it.
Right. So there's just a slight update on the remodeling. Is that we said that the west part of the circuit was probably gonna undergo some remodeling.
Yeah, to look more like that or something, like, or this, to look a little bit more like that, like the big one.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing that's up in the air, and I guess it's a local thing in Austria. It's called planning consent.
Okay.
This is what the circuit needs. The circuit owners, which is obviously Red Bull, the Red Bull circuit, they want to restore it to 5.5 to 6 kilometer length. But as you can see, like in this picture here, for people that are looking, there's
around there.
yeah, I think it's a go-kart track at the top, but there's some farms. There's some farms there. There's some modern considerations.
I always found it so charming because you know how in every other city the long ass helicopter shot goes through the city or like goes through like whatever's around. Over here, I remember one time like the shot started with like a bunch of cows grazing and then like as it got higher, because there's like legit like dairy farms around here.
It was interesting what we saw in Russia was the dolphins, black dolphins.
Yeah.
But so you see on the bottom left of that picture there, where sort of like that red and white, the red and white stripes there. So that is where they've built in the new chicane, and the west part of the circuit goes out around there, like way out there, and I think comes up there where the go-kart track returns over there.
Oh,
So what's required from the local council, their local government, is called planning consent. So apparently they've been now given permission to build it. They can pave all that, make it safe, set it up for grade 1, whatever, but the planning consent is needed to race on the circuit. So it's unfortunate, and it's a lot of words that I'm saying right now, but that west segment, even though it's going to be rebuilt, it might be used a few times a year for some manufacturer testing, for some special events, for like a historic type of event, but possibly the government's not going to allow a Grand Prix to happen there because of environmental as cows and whatever, the people that live there now and all that kind of bullshit. So we'll see though. Fingers crossed.
Last race.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Because who wouldn't want to see this? The Austrian circuit.
Everybody like a lot of people.
Want to see it restored.
If you
to its full glory.
watch like or like if you've been an F1 fan for longer, like longer than I've been alive, that sort of thing, like from since the 70s and whatever, when they raced there in the full circuit. Like a lot of people say, like like it would be nice to bring this the full circuit back.
The full circuit, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
everybody wants it.
Is there a limit?
They are bringing it back. It is being built back.
Is there a limit to like the size of a F1 circuit?
Not technically.
I don't believe there is.
Not technically, but practically there is, and
right.
the practicalities are defined by FOM. And really, what they're looking for is they figured a number of things that like would give like ideal like commercial time for like billboards. Really, is what's gonna determine that.
Are the drivers gonna pass by each advertisement?
Oh,
yeah. So they've basically figured that a lap or a Grand Prix has to be right around like or at least 305 kilometers, except for Monaco, or right around 305 kilometers. That's for the full length. But in each track like can only like and that's why you see like the new ones where they get like even a lot of freedom to build. It never goes past 4 kilometers.
Okay,
like 5 kilometers. The Baku one is like special because it's
it's gonna be the second longest, I believe now.
Yeah,
up
but
there with like Spa, Silverstone is really long. They're in the like 5 and 6 kilometer range.
Yeah.
Spa is over 6, I think.
Yeah. They're looking for an ideal like lap time of around somewhere between a minute and a half and 2 minutes per lap gives you like that ideal like sweet spot in terms of advertising.
Wow.
Which is fucked that's what's actually driving it and like limiting. But
you'll see a big like from Spa and Silverstone, those tracks you're gonna see like 38, 40 laps, something 42 laps, something like that. And then Monaco this weekend, I think we're gonna see 78. I think it is, or
cool.
79, something around there, 76 or 78. I can't remember. It's a lot though.
Yeah,
and they don't even do the full 305 Ks.
They do 260.
Yeah. They do it shorter because the average speed is so much slower. But
right, okay,
yeah, and this one too. This one is up in the like 70 some laps as well. They do the full 305K. It's a quicker track, but there's something around 70.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe
obviously,
more
like
high 70s.
A larger track or a longer track would have the drivers having to learn more about it, right?
And
a little bit of that too, yeah.
They'll be reaching higher speeds. They can probably like attack like higher speed corners. They can do like what drivers really want to do. This track also has it's quite an undulating track, and if you expand it to the full length, it's gonna have some interesting things with the change of elevations around some corners where you're gonna have some like blind corner situations. It's gonna be good. If they do that, if they have it ready for this year's Grand Prix,
it's not gonna happen this year.
Probably not. But
because of this planning consent bullshit, which I really think is just the provincial government, whatever it's called over there, that they're just concerned about noise and stuff, but. I don't know.
Oh, it's gonna.
They don't want to scare the cows.
Yeah. It's gonna scare old Bessie.
Yeah, you never know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's pretty much all I got for this week. I think. More or less. Anything else you got?
No. In closing, I think we can I think we're just really looking forward to what's gonna happen this weekend, and
it's gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of big news gonna be sort of locked down. We're gonna find out about the head protection.
Guys, also
a little bit more about Heineken, probably.
Sorry about last week's episode and the technical difficulty. I think maybe we should have apologized at the beginning. If you're still kicking around or you heard our last show and you were here for our last show, sorry about all what happened.
Yeah, I was pretty upset.
Yeah. No, it was.
I wasn't happy.
Jesus. But no, it seems like we're back on top of our technical things. And we will have a bit of an announcement ready for you guys between now and next week's episode, or by next week's episode.
Oh, one more thing, one final thing here. I got. I was trying to pull this up just before the last segment. Danny Rick and Sebastian Vettel tied in the standings. I thought that Danny Rick was slightly ahead, both 48 points. Max Verstappen's got 38, and Lewis Hamilton's just ahead of both of them with 57.
But crucially behind Kimi Räikkönen.
Yeah, Kimi Räikkönen's got 61 to Vettel's 48 as well. It's interesting. Rosberg's sitting at a cool 100.
Ooh, Hyundai.
Yeah, it's gonna take a second. Yeah, something's wrong with my internet. It's going slow now. Can't see the constructors, but yeah, killing it.
All right. And now kill it with this beat, Mike.
Yeah, come hang out. Come hang out on Betty's.
Yes. If you like this track, listen to bamboo.com, and I'm sure they'll have a show coming up at some point this
I might
summer.
watch this race twice. I think I might.
16th of June.
There you go.
Or North by Northeast.
Oh,
What's the
At,
venue?
Bovine Sex Club.
Wicked.
National Festival.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.
Cool. See y'all then.
Bye.